สวัสดีครับ You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest top stories before we end the week. Now, as always, a warm shout out to Hans C. Schellenberg for supporting the channel as a Thaiger legend. Hit that join button to be part of the group. Now, before we get started, we're just crossing down to the Thaiger Phuket office to see what's happening over there today. Looks like Tim has the paint roller in hand. He might even get some paint on the wall. And Jay there continues to get all the gear working for the start of our new daily program, Good Morning Thailand, which will start sometime next week. So we'll start the show with today's COVID numbers, and there has been 30 new COVID-related deaths and 2,256 new cases in the past 24 hours. Out of today's infection total, 183 of those were from the prison system. Yesterday, those numbers jumped substantially because of the release of case numbers from two highly infected prisons, Bangkok Remand Prison and the Central Women's Correctional Institution. Now time for the rest of today's news. An official from the BMA says foreigners may face a slight delay in receiving their COVID-19 vaccines. The director of the BMA's health department says while the health ministry aims to vaccinate everyone living in Thailand, foreigners may have to wait until August. He said that we will try our best to vaccinate Thais within 2 months, namely June and July, and then try to open foreign resident registration in August. The Public Health Ministry stressed that the government still intends to vaccinate everyone living in the kingdom, regardless of nationality. The first people to be vaccinated in the government's next rollout will be healthcare workers and other frontline staff, as well as people with underlying conditions and the elderly, before moving on to the rest of the population, which includes foreigners. Now, there have been mixed reports from foreigners who have tried to use the Malprom registration app, with most unable to do so, while some with a social security number have managed to register, but the government says they will probably need to re-register when it is announced that foreigners can apply. In Phuket, expats working in the tourism sector can have their employer register them through the Phuket Must Win website, effective immediately. However, so far, the Thaiger's HR staff have been unable to register any of the Phuket foreign staff. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration has now confirmed 8 clusters of COVID infections in the capital. But they note that some areas are already seeing a reduction in new cases, but districts like Dindang, Dusit, Klong Tei, and Suan Luang are still a cause of concern. They say that most infections are reported in crowded areas such as company offices, worker camps, markets, and stores. In passing on the latest vaccine news from another angle, the Thai Private Hospital Association is now working to offer a variety of COVID-19 vaccine brands to Thais. Thailand currently has only 2 COVID-19 vaccine brands that are currently available and covered by the Thai government's free inoculation program. AstraZeneca and the Chinese Sinovac are on the list, but recipients have no choice which one they receive. Instead, those wanting a different brand will have to wait until widespread vaccine alternatives appear on the market. But the PHA say the choices of vaccine brands offered by private hospitals will be different from the ones given under the government's free program. He says Novavax, Sinopharm, Moderna, and Bharat Biotech brands are among the ones which the association is considering. Now, just yesterday, the World Health Organization approved Zuellig Pharma's Moderna COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use in Thailand in people aged 18 or over. The Moderna vaccine is classified as a mRNA 1273 vaccine and has around a 92% effectiveness rate against COVID-19 from 14 days after receiving only the first dose. The health ministry says the prices of the vaccines are not finalized, nor is the decision on which brands will be available in the private sector. He also says there is no time frame on when the vaccines will be delivered. So as usual, watch this space and we'll pass on the news on vaccine availabilities in Thailand as it becomes available. Now, as Thailand still wrestles to control the third wave of COVID-19, much of which stems from entertainment venues in Bangkok and a massive party in Phuket, Patong police have announced that the managers of the Phuket venues that hosted the Kolour entertainment events will be charged under Thailand's emergency decree provisions. The case report was filed with the public prosecutor yesterday, with 3 people being prosecuted for the events. The Kolour Beachside Festival was held on April the 2nd and 3rd, with events at Café Del Mar Phuket in Gamala and Shelter and Illusion nightclubs both in Bangla Road, Patong. Before the festival, Phuket had gone more than 100 days without any new COVID-19 infections, but by the 7th, the Phuket Provincial Health Office announced 8 new infections, 50% of whom having been at Kolour parties. That's Kolour with a K. In the weeks that followed, officials pleaded for people who attended the parties to be tested as infections spread. Charges were delayed in being filed to the Phuket Public Prosecutor's Office as a special investigation committee was ordered to be created to oversee the investigation at the request of the Region 8's police commander. The manager of Café Del Mar, along with the MD and management of Shelter and Illusion, which are under the same management team, will be charged for the Kolour Festival events as well. A Thai teacher who called a student a phony, among other names, when the student called in sick, has now apologized. The incident occurred when a student says he texted his teacher and told her he was sick and could not come to school. The student says the teacher did not acknowledge this illness and called him a phony, as well as insinuating that he was sick from using illicit drugs. The student posted online about the incident, which, as you can imagine, attracted plenty of online attention. The principal of the school and the teacher visited the student at his house, asking for forgiveness, saying that it was the first time anything like this had happened. The principal said he wanted everyone to have a common understanding and to help find ways to improve the school. Meanwhile, almost 2,000 math and science teachers have called on the Education Ministry to help them avoid layoffs in September. The teachers were hired in 2018 under a special project by the Office of the Basic Education Commission to improve math and science teaching standards in Thailand. Now, 1,964 teachers may face unemployment if action is not taken. So this one surprised me too, where a limited number of in-flight aircraft trolleys and galley boxes put up for sale by budget airline Hong Kong Express have sold out in a day. The Hong Kong carrier had advertised the items on the website, pointing out that they'd be ideal accessories for a costume party. The sales pitch read, "Each plated with our first-generation logo and a unique license plate, these trolleys are the must-have for cosplay parties or movable furniture for home decors." Hey, I mean, if you're just gushing money and have a burning desire to reenact that time you're on a Hong Kong Express flight, everyone needs a hobby. A half-size trolley was sold for around 18,000 baht. The full-size version went for 20,000 baht. The trolleys were advertised as having been extensively cleaned and disinfected and are in full functional conditions. I would hope so. In December, the budget airline introduced new contracts for its employees, including pay cuts of up to 40% for its pilots, along with 6 or 9 months of unpaid leave for other employees. Maybe they can join that cosplay party while they're off from work. Finally, just a quick note about all the news pouring out of Thai departments at the moment. One day reporting one thing and the next day with some other news. Now at the Thaiger, we're doing our best here to filter out and streamline this flow of news, some of it seemingly contradictory. But there will be changes in dates and sometimes some hiccups in translation. Of course, everyone wants to know about the latest restrictions, dates of reopenings, and vaccine opportunities. But there are 77 provinces in Thailand and things are moving very quickly, with some provinces doing one thing and other provinces doing another. To put it bluntly, things simply won't run quite as smoothly as they might. So we'd urge your patience and suggest that if you're in Thailand, keep enjoying all the things that we love here, including the weather, keep socially distanced, wear your masks as requested, and keep posted to the Thaiger. We will continue to do our best to provide you with the latest news. And with that, have a wonderful weekend and Sawadee krap.